definitely appreciate you taking the time out of your lunch to come sit here and listen to us talk about our company. And we'll start off with a quicker PowerPoint. It's just a little overview of Novogradic, and then I'll go into talking some interview tips that will help you for once you're ready to land your first job in accounting. So this is just from the owner, Mike Novogradic. He has this statement: the firm was founded to a great extent to create an opportunity for people to achieve and to be rewarded based on their accomplishments. Novogradic and Company's goal is to build and maintain a platform for professionals to excel. We help people grow by encouraging individuals to challenge themselves and offer ideas and drive the firm forward. So we're a company that really strives on that innovation. If you have ideas that you think of and you want to, that's going to help our company grow, we're definitely open to hearing those kind of ideas. Currently, we're actually at 28 offices now nationwide, so a lot of different locations around the U.S. And then this slide just talks about some facts about Novogradic. We are actually at almost 800 employees now. We have 59 partners. On the bottom left, it says we have 538 podcasts. So every Tuesday, Mike Novogradic has a podcast called Tax Credit Tuesday. So just some information you get to learn about the industry and some helpful items there. 14 best of inside public accounting firms. And one item that's not on here is we are one of the fastest growing public accounting firms that does not have a single sales rep selling our business. So I think that's pretty amazing. And then these are just our industries. I'll let Nicole talk about tax credits.
Yeah, so our firm, we work with the tax credit industry, and there's 4 main types of tax credits that we focus on. So the first one is the low-income housing tax credit. That is huge here in Texas. So in our Austin office in particular, this is the bulk of what our staff, our interns, everyone is working on. Basically, it's just providing that affordable housing to the communities who don't have it. We also work with new market tax credits, which is kind of the commercial side of that. So it is providing grocery stores, clinics, different little businesses in low-income communities. That way they don't have to drive far. Everything is centralized right there just to help the community grow. We also have historic tax credits. This is really big in a lot of older cities, obviously. So San Antonio has a lot of historic buildings, and it's just about keeping those buildings preserved. And our last one is the renewable energy tax credit. This is really big in states like California. Solar panels on roofs. Sometimes we have properties, so it could be a low-income apartment building with solar panels on the roof, maybe also a daycare that's new market tax credit on the first floor. So we do see some kind of intermixing of the credits.
And this slide just talks about our growth and success. As you can see, 2007 we had about $48 million in revenue, and then last year, 2017, we had $137 million. So more than doubled our growth. Typical work schedule. So you'll see that top point where that's during the tax busy season. Our company earns about 50% of the revenue in those first 3 months. And we try and pride ourselves on that work-life balance outside of busy season. So you'll see that 40-hour standard work week throughout the rest of the remaining year.
And one thing that we like to pride ourselves on is that Novogradic pays not just interns overtime, they also pay staff and seniors overtime. So I've been there for a couple of years, and I'm still on overtime.
All right, so failure. Who here has failed? I think we should all raise our hand. We all fail. But one thing too, when it comes to our internship, we understand, everyone fails. Whether it's going to be your first public accounting job, or accounting job, or job in general, everyone's going to fail. It's okay. So we want to make sure everyone knows it is okay to fail. It's just very important that you do ask questions. So if you have an item that you're not sure on, ask it, write it down. Don't be afraid. No question is silly. Just ask so then you'll know. All right, so what makes this place special? So transparency. We have Mike Novogradic. He has a vision speech every year that everyone will chime in on this conference call and hear what he has to say of just where our company is going, the direction it's headed to, and the opportunity that's coming our way. And then chart talks. Do you want to talk about?
Yeah, so every year, right before busy season, we also do what's called a chart talk. Basically, it is transparency of salaries across the firm. So we tell the average salary of a staff last year and how much the average how much overtime the average staff worked. And so you kind of see across the board what your coworkers make, basically up until partner, and then it's all kind of a mystery from there. We don't get to know what they make. But it's kind of nice. You're not competing with your fellow employees. There's a little bit of give here or there, but for the most part, at every level, your peers are making a similar salary. So
yeah, it's kind of just nice to know like where you're going. How can I get to the next level?
Mm-hmm.
So. Work-life balance, yep, definitely try to make those 8-hour work days 9 months out of the year. Having that work-life balance is very, very helpful. To meet a team community environment, so we know how to throw a party. We have a great holiday party at the end of the year. After busy season's completed, we'll have 4:15, we call it, party as well. And then just throughout the years, happy hours, fun outings as well. And then annual company gifts. One year last year, we nice backpack. These are awesome. What else did we nice?
Jackets. I got a Kindle one year.
Okay. Nice. Yeah.
And all of that is just kind of like, it brings us together because we are a good mid-sized firm, but the office is pretty intimate, and so you spend so much time with all of those people. It's good to get to know them outside of the office. So. Oh, sure.
What's a Novi?
Oh, sorry, Novies. So we call ourselves Novies. So Novogradic, I know a lot of people kind of like Novogradic, but yeah, Novies for short, what we call it. It's like an enduring word for us. Yeah. All right, giving back. So a couple times out of the year, you get paid to go out and give back to your community, different volunteer events. So instead of being in the office, you're gonna do that. We've done food banks, beach cleanups, you name it. So, all right, professional development. Okay, want to talk about some training?
Yeah, so we offer a lot of in-house training outside of busy season. There are updates to the tax codes every year. There's updates to the tax credit codes. And so we want to make sure that all of our employees stay up to date. And for all of our interns who just got hired as staff, we provide very good trainings just on the basics, so that way we can really give them all of the knowledge that they need. They provide trainings like basically every week from the summer to the end of the year. So there's lots to be attended. It helps if you're a CPA, you get your CPE credits. Novogradic is also really big with providing conferences. So we're kind of like the leader in the industry. So we host conferences in some of the big cities like Miami, New Orleans, Vegas,
San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego, and maybe there's a couple more. So we host those conferences. Those are not just for employees. Those are for like developers and contractors, and anyone who wants to know anything about that particular industry are welcome to attend. So we provide a lot of information out to the industry itself.
All right, one perk that interns really enjoy are fully stocked kitchens. So we have healthy items and then also not so healthy items, fruits, vegetables, granola bars, and then we have candy and popcorn and Rice Krispies. And yeah, you can pretty much have breakfast through dinner at our office. So I know some people, if you want to be saving money, have that option. This is helpful to some people. So. Oh, and then weekly catered lunches. What do we have on Wednesday? During busy season, we have lunch every Wednesday catered, and then also Saturday breakfast.
We had free birds on Wednesday, and I don't know what we have tomorrow. Maybe Taco Deli.
All right, so CPA reward / tuition. You're eligible for $4,500 per calendar year to take classes, approved accounting classes that your partner, just signs off on. Pretty easy. And then also CPA reward, so you'll get $2,000 after you pass the 4 exams, and then $1,000 once you receive your license.
Yeah, so that's like if you need to meet your 150 hours, then that made it a lot easier for me. I was working full time, taking 2 classes at a time, and each semester my classes were completely reimbursed. So.
Perfect. And then this is just 401k option plans. Every quarter there's entry dates, and then we do full vesting in 6 years for a profit sharing plan. So that's just a little overview of Novogradic. Any questions so far on that company information?
How do you guys like working there? Like,
I love it. I love our culture. I think we're really team oriented. I think this company gives a lot to their employees, so I think that's a great benefit. So.
They're really good about like growing their employees and like providing a lot of opportunities. So, I'm full audit and tax, and so I'm in overtime busy season mode right now, but I get to do this on the side, and I'm not forced to do it. I was asked to do it, and because they saw that I had that skill, and they thought, okay, like, do you want to do this? We'll work with you, and now it's something that I get to do. I really enjoy it. So anything like that, they look for those skills, those qualities, and they try to, grow you on those. If you have a specialty, if something is really your niche, then they work with you on that. So it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
So how many employees right now? The whole country?
Over 800.
800. But we made 147 revenue, so 800.
Yes, yeah, 800 employees nationwide.
So is a good business at this training?
Yeah, so we've actually been growing every year. We were the only or one of very few accounting firms to continue to grow even during the recession. A lot of companies, saw dips, and we continue to grow even during that period. So Novogradac has been very consistent with their growth. It's exciting.
Yes. Oh.
go ahead.
Like I told Dr. Clark last week, after I graduate, I'm considering pushing up towards Dallas.
Okay.
I just noticed in your few slides back, you have a location
Yes,
in Dallas.
yes,
Do you know where in
a
Dallas?
small office in Dallas. Our biggest one is in Austin. That's where we have the most interns. We do have a small office in Dallas, and then we're also going to be expanding our El Paso office as well. So.
Do you know where in Dallas? Is it more like the south side of Dallas? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure exactly where in Dallas we're located, but if you want to see me after, I can.
I was going to say, do we have audit and tax in Dallas?
We have one.
Okay.
What is the percentage of your interns that roll over to be full-time?
Sure. So nationwide, it's about a 40% conversion rate to being hired on after the internship program. Part of the reason people want to take off work and complete their CPA. I found out her year when she got hired on, they had 15 interns, and then 13 got hired on. So it kind of just fluctuates. Each office is a little bit different, but nationwide we're about 40% conversion.
Like in Austin, it's usually about 50% or more. So it's obviously about how well that internship went for you. How much you enjoyed it. Is this something you want to keep doing? And that's the biggest piece. And then the small piece is whether we have the capacity for it. But the great thing about the Austin office is that we have lots of room to grow, and that's really our goal.
We just expanded, so we're on the top floor, or the 4th floor, and then we just expanded and acquired some of the 3rd floor. So if that just shows you that we are definitely expanding too.
Sure.
So.
What part in your education level would you start? Would an internship be looked at?
So for our internship program, we do require having immediate accounting completed, and then above a 3.2 GPA is always helpful. But we have it set up to where you're going to experience that busy tax season from January to March. So we end up hiring a lot of December grads as well. And then after you graduate, do that internship and then get hired on as a staff. But we do have a lot of students that will, take off that quarter, get to experience that real world busy season too. And then one thing that is really awesome about our internship is you do tax and audit. So you don't go into a company, you don't go into an internship. So now I'm going to choose tax, even though you've taken tax classes, but you've never had that work experience in tax, where we get audit and tax. So you get to see, what career route am I going to go into?
So at least the intermediate.
Accounting, correct.
Yeah, intermediate one, pass. And like really, it's just going to be up to you on a personal level. I would say I was a December grad, did the internship, then came back on full time, and that worked for me. And as I was going back to school for the 150 credit hours, suddenly all of those courses made so much more sense because I had work experience. So if you can do an internship in your undergrad, I think it would be great. It's going to help really just apply those concepts in the rest of the courses that you'll be taking. So it's just whatever works best for you, really.
What's the process to go about applying for?
Sure, yeah, so we have brochures. There are there's a website link in there as well our 2020 internship is open. So it's on our website for careers and for internship.
So
Sorry.
we,
Oh, is it on there? Oh, what's that?
so
Oh, I don't know what
if
that is.
anyone
That's on us.
So if anyone intrigued, just go online to
Yes.
apply.
Yep.
Yeah, so we have already started, like we've opened up the spots, and so we are like really geared up for this 2020. We like to have all of our spots done
Yes.
by some point in September. So summer through the fall, we really want to finish doing up all these interviews. So that's probably when you could expect hearing about like interview dates and that sort of thing from us.
Yes.
Can you use tuition reimbursement for Becker or Rutgers or something like that?
We don't do reimbursements for the materials for the CPA, just for the exams itself. But I will say, I think we get a discount with Surge. They usually offer like some free videos, and then I think I've seen it going around in my office, like emails about discounts at Surge. Usually there's like a lot of people taking the CPA exams every semester, and so like we usually get with a coworker and say,
Sure.
okay, like we're gonna take it in like reverse order, but we can share the materials. That's also kind of an option, but.
All right, we'll get into, so now we're gonna go into interview tips. I think this is gonna be an awesome, hopefully you'll gain some information that will just help you for any interview that you'll have in your career. Everybody enjoying some pizza?
Pizza.
All right, so landing the job of your dreams. Okay, so this is gonna be the agenda, what we'll talk about before the interview, just some resume information, interview tips, during the interview, what to do, what not to do, after the interview, just kind of the proper follow-up, and then just building your career. So you can just go through all this. This is a quick little slideshow about me. So I have been a recruiter since I graduated college. I've interviewed over 2,000 people. This is my this past year was my first busy season as a recruiter with Novogradic. I've hired 250 people, or I've assisted with hiring 250 people, and I currently recruit for 4 of our offices. Okay, so we'll get into the before the interview. All right, so resumes don't get the job, people do. It's just that first entry into the position, what you have, what you bring to the company, your ending product. So resumes don't get the job. Okay, so you can just go through one or use, yeah, you're good. Okay, all right, so 1 page for students. I think that's a great rule of thumb. Most of you haven't had a career experience yet. I just helped assist with our general counsel role, where these attorneys had 15 years plus of experience, where their resume, were 3 pages long. So I think a good rule of thumb, having that 1 page resume, a nice clean one, is good to note. Include your GPA. I think for accounting students, that's great to have. I would maybe take that with a grain of salt if you weren't an pursuing accounting. Maybe, if you you had an under 3.0 GPA, I don't know if that was necessary, but I'd say yes, let's go and include that GPA. Use bullet points. So you'll have your current position, top, and then your responsibilities to make sure to at least have, you know, two to three minimum bullet points for your job responsibilities. Use numbers to quantify your accomplishments. So just at the end, when you have any kind of accomplishments, you can use numbers for that. Power of verbs. So when you're using your responsibilities, when you're writing that down, just make sure, you know, I listed a couple or a few words that you can write, developed, administer, just making yourself sound fancy. State your objective at the top, just, you know, the purpose of the resume, what you're wanting to pursue. All right, so 30-second commercial. I'll be honest, most recruiters do not spend more than a minute, especially with a student resume, looking at your resume. So put who you are, your responsibilities, your accomplishments, make it stand out. What have you accomplished? And then what are you looking to do, so for your objective. All right, interview checklist. I'd probably write this down if you have a pen, if we have pens in the little water bottles, but extra resumes. So when you're going to your interview, you most likely will meet more than one person. Having 3 resumes, perfect. I think that's a good rule of thumb. A portfolio and a pen. So, you know, at Walmart, Target, you can get a little like black thing like this, put your 3 resumes in there, put your pen, you're set to go. I actually, when I graduated college, I interviewed with a company, and at the end she asked me to write something down, and I was like, pen. So it just made me look not prepared, so learn from my mistakes and bring a pen. Cash and change for parking. So first time going into a building, most offices, you know, have you pay for parking, so just make sure you have that change. You don't want to show up to an office and you're there and they're like, oh, it's $5 to get in, and you're like, oh, I don't have any cash, so it's like, okay, let me go find my ATM machine, and then you're going back, and then you're late for the interview. So bring some cash, bring some change, know where to park. Get there ahead of time. You're most likely you've never been to this office building before, so you know, definitely give yourself a good half-hour window minimum. You know, if you want to just sit in the car, be calm, cool, collective, give your, you know, go on Instagram, whatever in the meantime, just so you're prepared and not, you know, nervous or whatnot. So allow for traffic and plan to arrive early. I can't stress that again enough. Yesterday we had an event where I was like, okay, let's be an hour early. There was traffic, so we ended up only being a half hour early. So you never know what's going to happen. You definitely want to make sure you are early. Okay, so let's just say you're 30 minutes early. Perfect, that's great, but don't show up to the company 30 minutes early. All the hiring managers are hiring for a reason. They are on a strict schedule. I can't tell you, I've told people this time and time enough, hey, please make sure you come in 5 minutes early, nothing more, it's not necessary. I've had partners say, Brittany, this person came 30 minutes, like what's going on early? Like people have a lot of stuff to do throughout the day, so they have this time block for you. So 5 minutes, 5-6 minutes, great rule of thumb.
So, is it looked upon negatively, say the person do arrive 20-30 minutes early, but they realize they will not be seen until a certain time? Is that an issue?
Wait, say that again? So if you arrive there 30 minutes early,
but the person is fully aware that their appointment isn't until hypothetically 3 o'clock, but they arrive at 2:30.
Okay. They still are gonna feel bad and just be like, yeah, it's fine. I'll interview the person, and then it still definitely messes up their day.
But they're not expecting to jump ahead of their time frame. They're just sitting there, just trying to prepare.
The hiring manager will still just be like, yeah, I understand that you are, but I don't want. They're gonna feel bad having you to wait half hour in the lobby, even if you're like, oh, I'm aware I'm early, you know. So I would just say, as a good rule of thumb, stay in your car, get to the company 5 minutes early. Okay. And then stand in the lobby, never sit, unless, take that again with a grain of salt. You know, if the receptionist say, okay, go to have a seat, you know, don't be like, oh, okay, no, yes, go ahead and have a seat, totally. But yeah, just, you know, don't be like, if the receptionist's like, okay, he'll be right with you, and you're like, all right, cool, I'm gonna go sit down like all the way down the hall, like just stand there waiting. So, all right, so during the interview, we'll go through these kind of bullet points, do's and don'ts. All right, so body language, sitting on a chair. So do not ever like lean super forward. Just kind of, you know, stand up straight. Show you're confident. Your eye contact, all kind of stuff. So, all right, smile. Don't forget, always be smiling.
Can I put in on that?
Sure.
I saw a presentation going through, they talk about open face versus closed face,
Okay.
and talk about smiling, but the one thing they talk about is just hold your eyes open. And if you hold your eyes open, and I mean, granted, I'm exaggerating a little
Yeah.
bit.
You kind of end up smiling anyway when you do that.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah, so just by opening your eyes, and they showed pictures of people doing this, right?
Yeah.
But just by concentrating on opening your eyes, it just naturally causes you to smile a little bit, and it opens up your face and makes you more approachable. And it
Yeah.
sounds silly, but it really does work.
Yeah. Huh. Okay.
So,
That's good to know, too.
You're not gonna be able to
Yeah.
sit here like this all the time, but if you're just having a conversation with somebody, you think, open your eyes, open your eyes, open your eyes, that it's not exaggerated, that, you know, you're not sitting there like this.
I feel like I'm a little like I have to sit.
You don't want to have like crazy eyes. But yeah, that's good. And then yeah, again, you know, never like lean back. I had actually one of our partners, Diana. Now she's part of our executive board. I had this great candidate. He had a 4.0 GPA, like in clubs, all that kind of stuff. Like I was like, oh, he's gonna get hired. No problem at all. She said during the interview, he like slouched like this, like just not professional at all. So yeah, he didn't get the job. So again, just, you know, stand, you know, sit up. Okay, again, smile. Yes.
What's the issue about crossing your legs?
I think they just think like if depending on how you do it, and if it's that setting, it kind of just it could just come off as a very casual person, you know. So.
It's also like
You know
open
how
versus
women
closed
sit-
body
You know how
language.
women sit on the edge, but they have their legs crossed at the bottom?
Oh,
yeah, and I think that's fine. That's definitely appropriate. I think it's more of like a hey, what's going on? Like, you know, just being.
And that, yeah, I've seen that before, and it was very off-putting. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Again, smile. So okay, and then don't fold your arms. So as it's again just going to body language. If you fold your arms, it's kind of like you're closed, you know, not open. So just, you know, if you want to like do this or something, that's really fine. But again, it's just that body language, just being open. And again, smile. All right, small talk. The slow death. So plan ahead. You know, just know who you're interviewing with. Don't kind of, you know, shoot yourself in the foot by not having a topic to choose from. It'll just help sell yourself when you know, have some conversation that you know you want to talk about. All right, interview do's. So do listen, keep that eye contact going, look at or hear what they're having to say. Okay, clean up your social media footprint. I can find pretty much any of you on social media. I can promise you that. So I don't want to be seeing people at their friends' bachelorette parties doing body shots. Just clean it up, make yourself professional. You're going into your career. Have it clean.
Question.
Sure.
Even though social media is in freedom of speech, and it also can be looked at negatively upon a company that is using social media as a medium not to hire people. So is the company using social media as one of the methods not to hire a particular candidate?
We're not. I don't have my partner saying, hey, Brittany, check their social media account at all. Just as across the board, I think with any company, I think it's smart just to be presentable, be professional about it. You know, if you want to be doing that, you know, if everybody has that opportunity to have their private profile, definitely. I just think as a good rule of thumb, just to, you know, keep it professional.
Might as well have 3 spots on your resume, like it just doesn't look good.
All right, so research the company, know what they do. You know, that's a pretty general one. So, and then also research the people that you're meeting with. And, you know, what level are they? How long have they been with the company? Those kind of things. Okay, so interviews, don't be late. If you're 10 minutes late, you're gonna be your best self when you are going to interview. You're gonna be dressed well. You're gonna be your best self going to it. So the last thing you want to do is be late. It just shows that, you know, you're not on time. It's disorganized. Don't dress for a date. Obviously, you know, you don't want to be looking like you're going to a club or anything. You know, wear the professional attire.
That's when they go to
Okay. Don't sell yourself too hard. Just, you know, be confident in what you have to bring to the table. Making sure it's a two-way street. You know, ask them questions. Make sure you answer the questions that they have to ask. Don't be rude to the receptionist. I think that's great. So when you go there, always smile, say hi. If they have a name tag, make sure you say their name. And then don't wear any fragrance. I think that's a pretty good one. Actually, this past busy season, again, a qualified candidate too. And it's like if you go in there qualified and you're wearing a bunch of cologne, the partner or the manager or the senior, they're not going to they're going to be kind of probably distracted a little bit by trying to breathe through their mouth or something. I don't know, but just don't go crazy on that cologne or perfume. Okay, so have a couple questions. I think 2 to 3 is a great a number to have. Have questions, because at the end of the interview, somebody's going to ask you, "Oh, do you have any questions for me?" And then if you just go, "Oh no," it kind of just shows that, are you interested? Do you want to really learn more? Because there's a lot of things that you can ask.
What kind of questions would you
Ask?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many.
Our previous president, Felina, is #1 on that kind of stuff. So you could definitely reach out to her, and she's just, I feel like she's got she's got a very good, just natural ability to do it.
Well, you can
Yeah, or
ask
even like, what do you like most about your job? I think that's a good one. You know, ask maybe about their likes and dislikes.
Don't be afraid to ask the same question over, because if you
Yeah.
meet with like 4 or 5 different people,
Yeah,
you
there's
feel
could
like
be.
you're being a little repetitive, but, you know, I've had students that, you know, they've met with lots of people. Do you have any questions? Yes. Do you have any questions? Yes. You know, they get to the last person at the end of the day, they've asked the same questions 3 or 4
Yeah.
times. Do you have any
Yeah.
questions? No, and that did it right there.
Yeah. So
Just
always
that one thing.
definitely completely agree. Yeah, always just have a couple questions to ask. So it just shows your interest with the company.
Don't ask about salary. If it comes to it, we'll get around to that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and going into the marketplace, actually, you know, your value is obviously not based on your rent, your car payment. Just know the position and kind of where this position is trending. A great resource is Glassdoor. Compensation, again, it's based on more than just your base salary. So if you're saying, "Oh, I got a job and it's $22 an hour," or it's opposed to, you know, a salary position, that big box firm could have a salary position and it's going to be higher than your $22 an hour pay rate. But don't forget to factor in that overtime. If you're like with Novogradic, you have overtime. So if you do some calculations, it could definitely push it more than that base salary too. So, and then time off, you know, how many weeks of paid vacation do you receive? Benefits, co-pays, deductibles, all that kind of stuff is definitely packaged into that full compensation package. So just think about all those items when you are looking for your next career. All right, so after the interview, always send a thank you letter. I think thank you letters are great. I've been seeing a lot of even thank you emails. You know, definitely if you can send that thank you letter, it puts yourself the next step. It gives yourself another touch to that hiring manager. You know, that remembering of your name that you say thank you. Just very professional. All right, so let's get into now building your career.
Can I butt in on the thank you?
Yes.
I keep butting in.
Oh no, go keep butting it out. Totally.
On the thank you, I would do the email and the letter.
Oh yeah.
Because so many places, it even happened with Novogradic with some of the recent interns that you hired, that, you know, it is proper to put a stamp on an envelope and send the card, right? But if you wait to do that, sometimes things move so fast that your card won't get there until the decisions have already been made.
True, that's true,
So-
yeah.
So it's good just immediately to send an email and then follow up with a card.
Yeah, I think a same day email is the best too, so, same day.
Question.
Sure.
Time allotted for the interview process? Is this like a 30-minute process?
For this
15?
company, or,
Yeah, for your company.
it's about an hour and a half interview. With Austin office, they meet with 3 people.
And I would say with the thank you note, one thing that I learned in college was to bring thank you notes with me in my little padfolio. When I got to my car, then I'm fresh. If they said something like they mentioned that they love to go hiking, just be like, I really enjoyed our conversation about hiking. That way you don't forget anything. You could also run back upstairs, give it to the desk person and say, hey, could you like give this to Alex later or whoever later? Or like come with it, stamp and everything ready. You can
Yeah.
just stick it in the mail that same day. So just a thought.
All right, so recruiting interview process starts off, you're looking at seeing what kind of companies that you want to, move forward with. And then once you go into the internship, it's kind of the engagement stage where you're like, okay, I'm trying you out, let's do this. And then the career is finally when you land it, there's that commitment, a partnership to that person or to your job. All right, so I'm gonna let Nicole talk about her promotion to senior. So she started off with Novogradic.
Yeah, so I started out as an intern. I had about 6 months off before I came back full-time as a staff. So standard with Novogradac, once you're hired on, you are considered staff 1. You're usually then a staff 2, and then you finally get to become a senior 1. So you usually have like 2 good years under your belt before you have the opportunity to become a senior. In my particular case, I had everyone on my team kind of like moved away, and suddenly it was me and a partner, and the partner said like, can you do this? Do you want to take on some extra responsibilities? And I said yes. So I skipped staff 2 and I went from staff 1 straight to senior. And it happened all pretty quick. But basically, once you get to senior, you're engaging a lot more with the clients. You usually have at least a small portfolio that you're working on with your manager. So you have to learn phone skills. You're not always dealing with people face to face, so how do you sound professional on the phone? Have some confidence on the phone. One of the big things I always learned is even if you're not face to face, have a smile on your face, and then you sound more pleasant to the other person. You also have to write a lot of professional emails, so it doesn't hurt to ask your manager, say like, hey, can you look at this real quick? Does this sound professional? Is this asking the right question? You also, sometimes you have a staff or you have an intern that you're kind of managing with help from your manager. But the step to senior is the big good step. Not only is it the best like increase in salary, which is always like a pretty nice motivation, it's that opportunity for you to just go for it. You're not necessarily thrown out to the wolves, but you have so much more responsibility, and let's see how you excel. Like, what do you enjoy? Which aspects do you enjoy the most? I don't really know what
That's
the
good.
slide says. Okay.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. And then this is just kind of going above and beyond. I think whether you pursue public accounting or not, just showing that you're here for growth. I think it's going to really show towards upper management. And these are just kind of like going above and beyond, putting in a little bit of extra time if you have projects that need to get completed, those kind of things. Be responsible for larger work. Billable hours are above the norm. So just kind of keeping people happy.
I think it's mostly about it's all about being willing and open to new opportunities. Always have that willingness to take on that little extra project, even if you're not sure if you have the time or the capacity. Take it on and challenge yourself.
Yeah, and two, just communication. I think that's something that's extremely important in your career. Having that strong communication of if you want to be going into that higher level track, to have that with your manager. All right, so this is just a little bit of I think just Novogradic versus a Big Four kind of audit. It shows that we do try and pride ourselves, as you saw in the other presentation, about having that 40-hour work week. It just it's our standard overtime, and then going back to 40 hours. So just remember, you guys are professional. Build your network, add people on LinkedIn, get your credentials that you need to pursue if you want to get that CPA route. All right, and so that was done. Hope you all learned something. Any questions that you might have during this time? Sure.
I really like the presentation. It's really helpful for interview.
Oh, thank you.
I have been looking for job in last 10 years, so it's
Okay.
very helpful.
Yeah, it'll be new for you. Yeah, definitely going into it.
My question is, your company is growing, and what kind of business majorly income for your company? So like auditing for customer, for the public?
We do tax and audit.
Tax,
Yeah, in real estate industry.
Oh, so I heard you mentioned energy saving. What are we doing with that?
Yeah, do you guys have any renewable energy?
A
or is it
little
more-
bit in
okay.
our office. So we work with all of those for tax credits, and so that's just one type of tax credit. In the Austin office, there's very little of that. It just hasn't like caught on as big in this area. But
Like
some
the
people,
solar power on top of
it's
roofs.
going to be big. Right?
yeah. So it's growing, but
Do your company primarily work with businesses or
no, that's a great question.
individual
So
clients, or is it a mixture?
It's actually most of because we work mostly with low-income housing, we're doing the audits and the tax returns on an apartment complex, or like historic would be like on a building. So we're doing this for a piece of property, and so the owners of that property, they're a partnership. So it's usually a general partner who runs the daily operations, and then there's the investor partner who provides all of the funding to run the project. So it is, as far as like the tax side, it's just we do almost like 90% partnership 1065 forms. So you usually deal more with the operational partner. So you're not doing a lot of like traveling, not like big public companies. It's these smaller partnerships.
Yes.
So what's been your biggest challenge in the transition from staff to senior?
Probably just like for me, because I skipped a little bit of a year, and I didn't have anyone in between me and the partner for a while. It was quite a bit of responsibility, and so it was about having the confidence in myself. I think I tend to be my own biggest critic. And so I tell myself, like, you can't do this, you're not good enough, whatever. When I got that confidence, it was like, you know what, this isn't so bad. I'm an organized person, I'm good with time management, and that's really what it's all about, is like how you manage your time really well. So for me personally, it was about gaining that confidence to really achieve it, because all of my responsibilities were within reason. But it was also really good for me to get out there and start talking to clients, because it's a little bit nerve-wracking when you first start talking to a client, because you're always afraid, I'm not going to know the answer to their question, or I'm going to sound dumb. So it's always okay to say, I don't know, let me do the research, or let me talk to my partner, we'll work this out and we'll get back to you. So having confidence and just learning to communicate well with clients was the big two things.
Yes.
So you now have listings for your internships for 2020.
Correct.
Do you know how many positions you're looking for 2020?
So we
For
hired
your Austin office, I'm sorry.
for Austin office. So we hired 15 people for Austin. I'm gonna assume it's gonna be the same, if not more, for 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So for the resume, we talked about the one page for students. I understand students, but we've also, what about those that have had a previous career in a totally different related field? Should we include any of that, or just leave that off completely?
I mean, I would definitely have your most recent 5 years of jobs. Maybe just put your objective if you're looking to transition out of your current type of work that you're doing, to put that on your objective, like pursuing public accounting. So the resume will show that you're getting your bachelor's in accounting, but you have some work experience here. But yeah, I mean, I don't think they're gonna need 3 pages of, let's say if you were doing like operations prior to that, if it's gonna not be that relatable, but I still think you should have, you know, the past 5 years of work
Yeah, it's
experience.
nowhere near relatable. We're
Okay.
talking about kitchen versus accounting.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I
also-
definitely think you wanna put your most recent experience, it doesn't show that you're not employee, but you know, just make sure that objective shows that you're pursuing public accounting, so.
It's a good talking point too, like it helps you stand out, that you stuck with something for so long, the kind of like loyalty to that, I think is always a good conversation.
Yeah, for the past couple positions too.
And to touch on what she said, like in my case, I've been retired since 2013. So
Okay.
I'm retired after 24 years now. How could I mold that into that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I would still put that on your resume, you know, and then have that most recent position on there with what you've done. You don't have to have it super extensive of responsibilities if it's not gonna, you know, relate, but you still are gonna wanna put it on there.
If you listen, what was the biggest challenge about moving from staff to senior? It was time management, it was communicating with clients, it was building confidence, right? It wasn't having technical expertise and so forth. And the resumes I've seen that students that have been most successful, they take these unrelated things. I mean, you're applying for an entry-level position, the expectation is not that you had a lot of accounting experience. If you did, you wouldn't be applying entry-level. Okay? But can you take the stuff you've done in your other careers, your other jobs, and these are things I've learned in those jobs that are gonna make me a better accountant.
Exactly.
That's the stuff that's really powerful.
Yep. That's really good. Yep, that's very true.
Question, for the entry levels, like how much expected Excel skills do you have to know? How much do you all teach as part of the internship program?
Yeah, I think having Excel knowledge will help yourself for success. What do you think?
We work in Excel every day, a lot. So that is like one of the big things we always tell people. I'm sure it's kind of across the board with any business profession nowadays, heavily uses the Microsoft Office package. Us in particular, we use a lot of Excel. So if you are familiar with Excel, if you're very comfortable in it, then you're gonna be like ready to start learning about like the tax credits and the actual audit and the actual tax work, and you won't be like kind of stuck trying to figure out what to click and where to go. So kind of make that your own little side project, you know, try to start using more Excel with your own schoolwork, with your homework. Use Excel instead of a calculator. Google the quick keys and how to use all the functions, because the more you know, the faster you can work, and the less like that's an issue, and the more you can really just focus on like what you're actually doing in the concepts.
I think too, if, don't they have like little Excel crash courses on Google, like if you were to Google that?
Oh yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like
like on
I feel like
YouTube
I've
or
seen-
something.
yeah.
Right, so with regards to, because from what I'm hearing, because I'm trying to get this, because I'm hearing that you have to know like a lot of the pivot tables and the VLOOKUPs, and that's a little struggle for me, so I need to practice on that. So do y'all do a lot of that?
I don't do any of that.
Really?
So I know I have friends who work at like RSM. They use pivot tables. I don't know if that's used a lot for like sampling. We don't do a whole lot of sampling. We do have like smaller materialities because the apartment complex doesn't bring in just crazy amounts of revenue. So we don't really have a need for pivot tables. I've never used one. I couldn't tell you how. So that's just us, at least. I remember learning about it in school. Yeah, I wouldn't stress over it too much, because really with any job, something like that, like they're probably not gonna expect you to remember how to use a pivot table if someone did. You know, we expect y'all to have like very like basic concepts with some computer familiarity, and we teach you everything else.
Any other questions? Oh, sure.
Did I hear you correctly, so y'all are not taking internships until 2020?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. So we only do internships during busy season, so only from January through March.
Thank you.
And then, did everybody get a chance to sign that check-in sheet? Awesome. Okay, perfect. All right, well, thank you all again for coming. Really appreciate your
Yeah.
time with us. So,
Greatly appreciate you coming.
thank you.